Serenissima, Allen Ginsberg, Peggy Guggenheim and Ezra in Venice. Chapter 1, Rio del Greco, October 1967. The poet awoke, waves slapping the canal, with cries and curses from the working men, busy slipping bags from barge to hotel. He'd arrived late the night before in rain, drank rotgut red with the night porter, and smoked hash to conjure magic with his pen. His challenge was to craft a cleansing chant, to levitate the Pentagon up high, an exorgasm from the hip Hierophant. From Anubis to Zeus he bound the sky, a mystic, materialistic formula, 4 elements, 5 sides, the circle pi, American as apple pie mantra to break the karmic wheel of damned slaughter. The thugs stand by to spread this chant afar. Morning now, looking along the water, buildings at strange angles to each other, some confusion between bricks and mortar, as though builders disagreed, or rather, they did not care which way was up or down. The poet had thoughts of his crazy mother. The workers in their blue boiler suits brown, water heaving but steady in their boat, the stance of men fated never to drown, pulling at ropes as the concierge hoped cargo would kiss the piano nobile. The scene now lifted to a higher note. In rays of sun the poet began to feel the lack of linearity was not his fault this time, but a different deal. It wasn't the acid or yage or pot, or even the hash from the night before. It was bacteria at work and rot, as generations of flood tides made law, when wooden piles on which buildings rested shifted to a formula at their core, and each edifice was itself tested. The poet sniffed life, fresh in the salty air, and smelt the force of history vested. Today held an opportunity rare to reclaim poetry and make it whole by facing the lost master in his lair, to break his silence and restore his goal, to remind him how reverberations found in the skin of our ears touch our soul and change the fate of people and nations. The mad old man had certainly been wrong, but his best works are sheer exaltations, and only he knew how to end his song. Chapter 2, Towards the Grand Canal, July 1957. The art collector was in a speedboat, scudding across the waves of the lagoon. Her retainer at the wheel turned to dote. The princess will see her palazzo soon. Not a princess, just a woman of note, she said, but her man sang another tune. Owning the Veneer di Leone made her, for him, as good as royalty. While the palace was low and unfinished, she was a patron of the finer arts, with her reputation undiminished for acquiring bargains, then breaking hearts. Escaped the Nazis, art unrelinquished, prices for her darlings now off the charts. Her peculiar penny-pinching way made sure she still had the money to play. She'd been big time in London and New York, bought Picasso, Duchamp and Surrealism before the war and let the critics gawk. Her promotional force made modernism popular. Then she found Jackson Pollock and conjured up abstract expressionism. When post-war Venice needed something great, her paintings gave the Biennale weight. The palazzo was now haven and home, surrounded by gardens light and airy. With dogs and daughters, she's never alone, and her social life was seen to vary. With visitors from the US and Rome, she could argue all night, be contrary. Tonight's adventure, to visit the garrets and amuse herself with wild young poets. Chapter 3, Around Dorsoduro, October 1967. The Old Fascist saunters along the street, near Salute, looking towards Giudecca, a Yankee in the poetic elite, self-styled sage and serious character, now seen as a charlatan and wrecker. He's made his mark making language more real, forcing mere words to mean as well as feel. He sorted out T.S. Eliot's style, used contacts to get James Joyce into print, helped Hemingway before he made his pile, polished up old Chinese texts for a stint. He had a career with burnish and glint. His plan was a poetic portmanteau, canny construction, canto on canto. With war and wealth and culture as his themes, his goal was to use poetic technique to help improve the ends of human schemes. Following Homer and Dante to seek What made society so strong or weak? But economics became his downfall and slowly sent his life into a sprawl. Not caring if he became a crackpot, he attacked the power of usury, where most were slaves while bankers ran a plot. In 24, he moved to Italy and under the sway of Mussolini ended up complaining of Jewish banks and joined the ranks of anti-Semite cranks. During the war, he spread his invective, broadcast radio to suit the season. His rabid rants were barely effective, but at war's end he was charged with treason. Weeks in a cage led to a loss of reason. His lawyer put him in his own phylum, and he spent 12 years in an asylum. The cantos grow and flourish in this time, troubling governments by winning awards, riddling with reason, avoiding most rhyme. His poetry resounds to modern chords. His voice rises from under the floorboards. So many friends come to his defense that the government rethinks its dire diktat. An old man descending into madness is no threat, so he does not need to stay. But his release brings on greater sadness. Once free, he finds he has little to say. Passing Peggy's palazzo on his way to lunch, he feels under observation. Paranoid plot or not, consternation.